Probably you already know SE Electronics for any of their wide array of microphones and microphone-adjacent products. One thing they have not previously been known for is a high-quality shotgun microphone, but that changes today. Hi, Noah Tichy here for Gearspace. In this video, I'm going to introduce you to one of the newest offerings from SE Electronics, the sE6160 shotgun microphone. It's a pretty special microphone, and I'll explain why in just a bit. But before we do that, I want to offer up some historical context, as well as explore some possible use cases where you might want to have a shotgun microphone on hand. The first shotgun mic as we know it was the Sennheiser MD82, which was produced in 1956. Electro Voice released the Model 642 Cartoline Ultra Directional microphone a few years later, and that microphone went on to win an Academy Award for Technical Achievement in 1963. A BBC research report on these two microphones summarized their usefulness as follows. There are a number of applications in broadcasting for a microphone having a directivity pattern which is narrower than the conventional cardioid or figure of 8 over at least part of its frequency range. In open-air broadcasts, for example, it may be desired to pick up sound originating some distance from the microphone, while excluding nearby noises. In audience participation shows on television also, a highly directional microphone can be valuable to pick up the speech of a person in the audience without the need for a roving microphone and its trailing cable. In terms of applications, not much has changed. A highly directional microphone gives you your best chance at picking up a source outside or from far away without watering down the sound you do want with all of the nearby noise you do not want. In principle, the technology is relatively unchanged as well. A highly directional microphone samples sound at a number of points separated by a distance that is large compared with the wavelength of the sound. The first example of a device meant to measure sound in this way is the Western Electric machine gun, which was a combination of an omnidirectional mic with an additional apparatus designed by W.P. Mason to provide constant acoustic resistance over a wide frequency range. The apparatus was essentially a cluster of tubes of varying lengths, and its effect was a highly directional microphone. The whole idea was for sound to reach the microphone element via multiple ports. On-axis sound reaches the microphone element all at once, recombining constructively. Off-axis sound, on the other hand, reaches at different times and out of phase, and thus recombines destructively. Modern shotgun mics achieve the same effect with a single interference tube with slots that act as the multiple ports. So that's the history and science behind shotgun mics generally. Let's now turn to this shotgun mic in particular. The use case that the engineers at SE had in mind initially for the sE6160 was as a crowd mic for putting together in-ear mixes that would leave performers feeling less isolated on stage. If you think about it, a high-quality shotgun mic is the perfect solution in that use case, as you want to grab something from a particular source at a significant distance in an especially loud environment. I'll admit that I personally haven't had the opportunity yet to play at a venue where this is an option, but I really like the idea of using technology to bring the audience and the performer back together. Some other possible use cases are the ones that probably come to mind most immediately when you think of shotgun mics. Audio journalism in man-on-the-street style interviews, capturing ambient sound in outdoor shoots for film, or tiny desk concerts. These are totally different applications requiring varying features, but the sE6160 is perfect for each, and here's how. My friend Buffy is an Emmy and Peabody Award nominated journalist who does stories for NPR and other outlets. She will frequently use a shotgun mic in her interview setup because it allows her to keep her distance from her interviewee while still capturing high quality sound. It's also ideal for field producing if she has to record both a host and a guest. That said, a loud talker can pose a bit of a challenge for a sensitive mic, potentially causing the recording to clip. Fortunately, the sE6160 features a switchable pre-attenuation pad for a quick adjustment to the dynamic range when you realize your subject is pushing a little more amplitude than you might have expected. Something else worth mentioning is that the 6160 is about half the weight of comparable microphones, but its die-cast construction doesn't compromise on durability. So halfway through an especially long-winded answer to a question that should have been relatively simple, you won't have to worry as much about arm fatigue. And speaking of wind, when recording outside, wind is always a problem, regardless of the microphone. With a shotgun mic in particular, though, you have a drop-off in directionality at a frequency that is related to the length of the interference tube. Basically, the longer the wavelength, the longer the interference tube needs to be in order to phase it out when it's coming in from the off-axis side. So it's pretty common for a low-frequency rumble caused by wind to build up in a signal that's otherwise really good at rejecting that off-axis noise. Fortunately, the sE6160 has a switchable low-cut filter to eliminate the low-frequency rumble from wind or from close miking or from footfalls. Now let me state clearly for the record that this is not the microphone that NPR uses for Tiny Desk concerts. In fact, at the time of recording, it's not been released yet. That said, shotgun mics are an important part of the Tiny Desk setup, and here's why. The transparency of the signal and the ability to record it from a bit of a distance are two key features in the Tiny Desk approach. The audience expects to hear only what they can see in a somewhat informal, under-engineered sort of a hangout session. And a shotgun mic gets you this sound without obstructing your view of the performers. The in-house designed, handcrafted, true condenser capsule with gold sputtered diaphragm in the sE6160 conveys a crystal clear signal, as you can hear. The Tiny Desk go-to is a mid-side stereo shotgun mic, which the sE6160 is not, but it does come in a stereo pair, offering you the same kind of versatility. SE is really onto something with the 6160. They've taken a highly specialized class of microphones and dealt with both of its Achilles heels with the switchable pre-attenuation pad and the switchable low-cut filter. They've also managed to make it much lighter than comparable mics without compromising durability, and they've ended up with a form factor that is exceptionally easy on the eyes. With the matched pair available to boot, you've got an incredibly versatile piece of recording technology. And that concludes this introduction to the sE6160 shotgun microphone. If you found the video useful, be sure to give it a like. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the Gearspace Forum YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so you know next time we put something out. You should also check out gearspace.com if you're not familiar with it. That's where you will find a treasure trove of information related to gear for audio and music production. Thanks for watching. Until next time.